It hurts me to think about this, right? Because the Steeler way is what makes the Steelers special.
What does it mean?
Well, I'll tell you what it means. Everybody always goes to the standard is the standard, right? Next man up, right? Lunch pail, man, bringing your hard hat to work every day and grinding and preparing every single week and getting after it in practice so that when I remember playing for the Steelers, and there were times when our practices were much more difficult, were harder than the games. And we got into games, right? I think of, and this goes back to even before Coach Tomlin was there. I remember Coach Cowher would stick out that chin, right? And he'd say, "You play hard, you play fast, you play smart, and have fun doing it." It was about going out there and playing harder than everybody else. It was about there going and playing faster than everybody else. It was hitting longer than everybody else. That's the Steeler way. But it begins with preparation. It begins going out every single day and studying the tape, studying the game plan, then putting it out on the practice field, and then carrying it over into the game. And when you get on the field, it's about effort, man. I mean, think back to Hines Ward, just lighting people up. I think of when I was thinking about this the last couple of days, because I knew we were going to talk about it, I was thinking about Pouncey. When was the last time you saw an offensive lineman play through the whistle and put a guy over the pile as the whistle was being blown? I don't know the last time I saw that. When was the last time you saw, just a little bit of nastiness out there? I haven't seen that. That's the Steeler way.
It seems, yeah, I hear that. It just seems like it hasn't been that way for a while. It feels like Ben wants to put the blame on this team, especially in light of, getting somebody's face, grab a face mask. Who from his later teams, you guys were gone by that.
But what he's trying to say
who from
is,
his later teams did that with Martavis or Antonio or people like that?
Well, listen, and here's the reality of it. It's the leaders. Who are your leaders? I remember when we were there, we had this culture, and it was like, if you don't come in, if you don't bring your hard hat, you don't bring your lunch pail, you don't come to work every day, you're not going to be here.
Yeah,
we had a nucleus of a team where of the 53-man roster, I would say 49 of the guys were already picked. So if you wanted that 4 or 5, the last spots that were available, you better get in where you fit in, right? You better come to work. You put all the crap out. You leave everything out in the parking lot. You come to work and you get after it, right? We competed in practice. I mean, nowadays, and listen, it is what it is. I don't know how often we had a veteran day off. I mean, guys like Aaron Smith never took a day off, right? Casey Hampton never took a day off. A lot of these guys never took a day off. They worked every single day, and we hit, right? It's just a different time. It's a different culture. It's a different season in the NFL. And it kind of, when you start to give guys this days off because they've been in the league 10 years or 8 years, it kind of promotes this kind of soft. And it's, if you're not out there hitting, if you want to be physical, if you want to be disciplined on the field on Sundays, on Saturdays, on Thursday nights, you've got to do it in practice. And I remember Coach Mitch. Coach Mitchell was a D-line coach of the Steelers for over 20 years. And if, he was, I don't care if you're in a walkthrough. I don't care if you're out there with no pads. You keep your pad level down, you play with good technique, and you go out there and you make no mental errors. And he demanded it of us. And if I came off from a walkthrough, I came off from like a half-speed kind of drill, and I didn't play good technique, he was in my mug. And so, and then you have veterans who maybe don't grab their face. I mean, that's old school, right? I mean, you think of someone like Greg Lloyd would do stuff like that, right? Grab your face mask. You heard stories about that. Guys don't literally grab their face mask and pull them in, but what it is they set the standard. So when you have leaders on your team that don't set that standard, they go out there and they take a play off, or they don't give their best effort. Or you don't have players on your offense who are established veterans who are been there. Who are the been there, done that guys on that offense right now? That's the thing. When you have a been there, done that guy who has shown year in and year out, they brought their lunch pail to work, that they go out there and they get it done, then you can say to the young guys, hey, that's who you look to. Who's that on offense right now? That's who you look to if you want to be in the league for 8 years, if you want to be in the league for 5 years. When you talk about who their leaders are, it's Najee Harris been there 3 years, who's fighting for his job. And it's Kenny Pickett, who right now people don't even know if he's going to be around next year. Those are the guys they point to as their leaders, right? And that's the problem right now. There's nobody that's going to lead right now this team that if you can look to. I remember when I played, Coach Tomlin would look to James Ferrier, and he would say, "Look to that guy, look to him. That if you want to be in the NFL for 14 years, look how he prepares. Watch him, shadow him." Do what he does.
That's what I was going to say.
They don't have that on the team on the offensive side of the ball right now.
Well, it feels like the culture created by the James Ferriers and the Jerome Bettises and the Hines Wards disappeared with those guys and hasn't been back since. It's not just this year, in Ben's words.
And it didn't even start with those guys, though, Starkey. I mean, you go back to, think about the tenacity. Think about the nasty of the guys in the 70s. Even in the 80s, they didn't have the Super Bowls. They didn't win as much as they did in the 70s as we did in the 2000s.
Yeah.
But those guys were nasty. They brought it. There was a culture here of the Steelers are hard workers, man. They get on the field. They're physical. They're going to out-hit you. They're going to be nastier than you, and you're in for a dogfight. That was the culture always for the Steelers.
Right. So
I don't know if you're seeing that right now, right? Where it's a dogfight.
I don't know that you've seen it since Ferrier and company left. That's my point.
I don't know if it's been that long, but the nasties. And what you got to have your leaders be those guys. But when your leaders are guys like Deontay Johnson, and you go out there and you're seeing them fighting with the coaches on the side. You got to have guys. There's something that we used to always say when I first came to the team. Coach Cowher used to always say, you don't have to like your job. You don't have to like your role on this team, but you need to be selfless for the team. You need to embrace that role and be the best you can be at that role. And really, it was about being a selfless player and filling your role to the best of your ability, whatever that was. Right, my early years of my career, I didn't get a lot of playing time, but I was a practice. I practiced. I was on the practice squad. But I was mostly a lot of the work things I did. I went hard. The offensive lineman hated me, but part of it was I wanted to make sure that I was still around. But the other thing was I wanted to do my job. I wanted to be selfless and do everything I could to help our team be ready to play on Sunday. And is that happening right now? Only they know. Only they know, right? Some guys are banged up and they got to take some, but only they know. But what we're seeing right now on the field is a manifestation. Listen, you don't go out there on Sunday and just it's preparation. It's what you do on Monday to rehab, Tuesday, Wednesday to prepare, go out and practice, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, build up to the game. Sunday is just a reflection of your preparation over the last 6 days.
That's Chris Hoke, two-time Super Bowl champion with that kind of passion.
That was great stuff.